Think we are live streaming now. Oops.
Very good.
All righty then. I'm just opening up the stream here on YouTube. Oops. Trying to see the chat here. There we go. There we go. Hello, everybody. Hello. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. We're on Twitter now, officially live streaming there as well. I hope everyone is doing well today. No, our Facebook going to our group is still not working. So I'm going to have to come up with the plan B for this, but that's okay. How are you, Tawana, officially?
Today is a good day, officially.
It's officially a good day for Tawana. It's officially a good day for me too. I have a couple of very large projects that I'm working on, and I was able to send at least a prelim of something just before I got in here. So that's very good. So yes. All righty then. We don't want to take too much of people's times. Now I don't see anything in Facebook, so this is interesting. But anyway, it's look, it's coming on YouTube, and we shall figure out what else is happening.
Yeah.
Facebook has changed its name to Meta, and everything is falling apart, right, everybody? Yes. So anyway, how are you all today? My name is Cherie of the 10K Project. The 10K Project is the largest community of investors who actively fund Black-owned businesses. And we do this through something called equity crowdfunding, which we're going to talk about tonight. Tonight's conversation is all about how entrepreneurs can raise anywhere from $10,000 to $5 million for your businesses that are starting, growing, and that's right. Y'all know that's one of my favorite topics. So I'm Cherie. This is Tawana. We're the co-founders of the organization. And what we're going to do tonight is we are going to talk about how entrepreneurs can raise money. We're going to give you some of the specifics. We have a focus group with our new course that's coming up. And if you want free access to it, we're going to talk to you about how you can get access to that. We also have a mastermind forthcoming for people who want to buy businesses. Y'all know that's one of my favorite topics. So we're going to remind people about that tonight as well. And ultimately, we are here to answer your questions. So if you are here in Zoom or if you are in YouTube, I can see you. So don't forget, thank you everybody who is already liking the video in YouTube. Thank you so much for that. And share it as well with your family, friends, colleagues that are looking to raise money. So, alrighty then. So we have a little quick presentation, and I am going to share it with all of you today, and that will enable us to be able to just go through, how you actually do this, how you raise money through equity crowdfunding, some of the basic things you should note, and, a little bit about our course as well that we have for people. So I didn't even ask you, Tawana, if you're ready, because I know you are.
I am ready. Let's do it.
All righty then. So again, today's topic is how to raise $10,000 to $5 million for your business. And we are the 10K Project. I always like to just tell my story a little bit because it's relevant to why I'm so passionate about this topic, and then have Tawana talk about it from her perspective. So I am a business plan writer. Most people come to a business plan writer in order to get funding for their business. So you write the business plan for the bank loan or for meeting with an investor. And I've been doing this since about 2010. And then I became full-time in about 2012. That was when I wrote my book, and my mother kind of threw me out there for writing business plans. But one of the things that I noticed in just being a business plan writer is that people would come to me and they would say, hey, Cherie, write this business plan for me. This is my vision, and I'm going to go raise money. And people from other ethnicities would come to me, and 2 months later, 3 months later, sometimes even 6 months later, they'd come back to me and say, Cherie, thank you so much for that business plan you wrote for me. Because of you, I raised $500,000, 600,000. One guy contacted me and said, yeah, we're about to get a check for $20 million for a real estate project, et cetera. Unfortunately, my Black clients were not having the best success. And it wasn't because the business plans were not what they needed to be. It was because they didn't have the networks that my clients from other ethnicities had. My clients from other ethnicities had the rich uncle, per se. It could have been an aunt. For one person, it was a girlfriend who worked at the right venture capital firm. Like literally, I've heard everything that got him into a meeting, that got them the checks. But my Black clients didn't have those networks. And I also saw the surgence of the We Buy Black movement. And I said, if we're buying Black, maybe we should invest Black too. So this is where Tawana comes in. So for 3 years, we belong to this group. It's probably been 4.5 years now that that group started. And this whole time I'm in that group, I'm saying to people, hey, if 10,000 of us got together and we each put in $100, that's $1 million. We can fund our own businesses. And I didn't have the vaguest idea really what equity crowdfunding was at the time that I started talking about this. It was just something I kept saying, like, this is logical. Please, somebody take this idea. And Tawana one day in a meeting, after me saying for 3 years, got sick and tired of me, I guess. She'll tell her story. And she says, when are you going to do something about that? It was literally a Zoom meeting with 5 people. And I think I said it one too many times for her. She said, when are you going to do something about that? I said, well, I hadn't intended on doing anything about it, but there's no way I could do it by myself. And she and the other 3 people on the call became the initial founding members of the 10K project. And that was how all of this got started. And our goal is to highlight the Black entrepreneur and to help Black entrepreneurs get funding. So Tawana, I'm going to toss it over to you.
Yeah, thankfully, Cherie kept saying it, right? Because then it gave us the opportunity to actually make it come to life. And so I am grateful to have Cherie as my business partner on this journey. I'm a 30-year HR professional and for corporate America. And the 10K project is very special to me because I've spent, a couple of decades watching people not fulfill their dreams, right? Getting stuck in a corporate environment where they're making money for someone else, right? Doing a great job for someone else. And they have these dreams that are kind of sitting over here that maybe they dabble in them from time to time, and maybe they've just forgotten them altogether. And so, here at the 10K Project, we're really allowing entrepreneurs and investors to make those dreams come alive. We're giving them the guidance and the tools they need to be brave, right? And sometimes people don't make those dreams come alive because of fear. Sometimes it's because they don't have the support that they need. And sometimes they just don't know where to start. And I feel like at the 10K Project, we're checking all of those boxes for them and really putting them on the right path. And so, I'm grateful that Cherie kept saying it. I'm so grateful that she didn't just say it once, because she did get on my nerves with it. So I'm grateful she said it over and over again so that I could have been brave enough to say, when are you going to do something about it? And here we are, right? Sometimes it just takes that one step and that one person to really change the lives of many, many others. So that one moment in time for Cherie and I has really turned into life changes for a lot of people. And I feel blessed and honored to be a part of the journey of all the people that we're helping.
Yeah, I mean, we've already seen changes not only for the entrepreneurs, but for the investors, for people who are making connections within the community, for our young people in the community. We have a gentleman who his daughter is about 12 years old, and every week they look at the the Bet on Black pitch, and they get to decide on as a family, do we want to invest in this business? We've heard so many stories, and we're really changing lives for the entire community here, not just the entrepreneurs. So,
Yeah.
but let's talk about the startling statistics. Most of you, if you don't know this per se, you know it just from living, is that Black founders typically start with about a third of the capital of our counterparts. And because of that, we have a hard time growing. We have a hard time marketing our services. We have a hard time building teams. Some of us need to get retail locations, things like that. So the lack of capital, and there's a ton of reasons why there's a lack of capital in our community, but the lack of capital is a big hindrance to many of the businesses that are out there. But crowdfunding is is the key, I think, for Black entrepreneurs who want to raise capital. It levels the playing field. And again, it levels the playing field when you have, for example, organizations like the 10K Project. Even though we are the largest, we want to be the behemoth in the industry. We don't necessarily want to be the only ones. There are other smaller groups of investors that get together as well. But when we have these pockets of investors that get together and that can hear a Black entrepreneur story and say, they do their research, do their due diligence on you as an entrepreneur, but say, you know what? I like that entrepreneur. I like the problem that they're solving, and I believe in them. I want to back that business. And they're able to do it with $100 each, $200 each, $500 each. That enables us to level the playing field with regards to getting the capital that we need. So there are 4 different types of crowdfunding that's available to an entrepreneur. The first is donation-based crowdfunding. That's your typical GoFundMe. The 10K Project does not do donation-based funding, crowdfunding, but that is an option for businesses if that is something that you want to do. The second is rewards-based crowdfunding. And we know a couple of Black entrepreneurs now that are doing rewards-based crowdfunding. We support it in spirit. The 10K Project does not support it with the Bet on Black pitch, but we do support it in spirit. And Renee King is a woman who runs Fund Black Founders. We highly suggest that if you want to do a rewards-based crowdfunding campaign, that you consider her. And Tawana, is Crowd Wall Street, are they up and running for rewards as well?
They are up and running for their rewards, yes.
Okay, so there are 2 other gentlemen, T.L. Williams and Jamsky French, that run Crowd Wall Street. There are also 2 Black gentlemen, and that is rewards-based crowdfunding right now. They also have filed their paperwork and done their interview to hopefully become equity-based crowdfunding. So we are praying for them so we can have more representation. But we would suggest either of those. Obviously, there are others. We're not going to name the others, but you can, you can go and look those up if you're looking to do rewards-based crowdfunding. The third type of crowdfunding is debt-based crowdfunding. This is suggested for companies that already have operations up and running because you are taking out debt or a loan. And it's always helpful to do that if you have the type of business where you can pay off the loan. So people will typically offer an interest rate on funds, and you are able to do research with regards to debt-based crowdfunding. I would say probably about 10% of the projects that we've brought on within the 10K Project have been debt-based crowdfunding. So we do them, we just don't do them as often. And then finally, equity-based crowdfunding, which is about 90% of what we do. That is a group of people. So everything with crowdfunding is a group of people getting together, putting in small dollars, $50, $100, $200, et cetera, in order to help you reach your funding goal. With equity-based crowdfunding, you are exchanging that money for equity or shares in your company. So again, debt-based, equity-based crowdfunding, that is what the 10K project does. And Tawana, I'm going to go through 2 more slides because I want to make sure that people know this, and then I'm going to toss it over to you. Okay, so how does equity-based crowdfunding work, or equity crowdfunding? President Obama in 2012 signed the Jobs Act of 2012. And what it did initially was it allowed regular everyday people like Tawana and I and the close to 2,000 people in the 10K project and others to invest in your business. We can do it as something called an unaccredited investor. An unaccredited investor just means an everyday person versus an accredited investor is, I'm just going to use the term rich, is a rich person. So everyday, regular, schmegular people now can invest in your business. What's the significance of that? The significance is before the Jobs Act of 2012 was brought into law, you had to go to an accredited investor in order to raise money. Well, 96%, I think is a percentage of people are not accredited investors. So many people were left out of your investment pool, and pretty much all Black America, except for, very, very rich people, were left out of your investment pool. Well, now it's opened it up for you so that you can get funding from everyday people. And what I want to warn you about as an entrepreneur is you cannot say tomorrow, I'm going to raise money through equity crowdfunding, slap a Facebook ad up and say, cash at me. That is illegal. If you don't hear anything else I say, I'm going to stop again and say this again. Please do not tomorrow start emailing people, start posting on social media that you're raising money, asking people to send money to your Cash App as an equity crowdfunding campaign. That is illegal to do. Equity crowdfunding is governed by the Securities and Exchange Commission and FINRA. You will be in legal clink trouble, potentially, for doing that. Okay, so I just want to warn everybody right now, but we are going to talk about the ways that you can do it legally. The other great thing about equity crowdfunding is that it helps us as a community, because if we invest in your business and if your business does well, then we as the crowd get to share in the profits. If your business does not do well, it doesn't mean that you're a failure, doesn't mean that there was fraud involved or anything like that. It just means that that idea did not work, and investors only lose the money that they have put into the company. So you may be asking, okay, I can raise up to $5 million. What can I use the money for? Well, you can use it for all sorts of stuff. You can hire people, you can do marketing, get retail space, get equipment, buy real estate, rent real estate, all sorts of reasons you can use the money for. The one thing you cannot use the money for is personal expenses. And we'll talk to Tawana about how we know that. But as of September 2021, equity crowdfunding has raised more than $1 billion. And all crowdfunding is raised about 56 billion. And I think it's 56 billion is what I was reading earlier today. By 2030, I'm sorry, wrong numbers here. By 2030, all types of crowdfunding is expected to be about $30 billion a year. We expect to see a huge shift in funding, being attributed to through Regulation CF, through equity crowdfunding and other types of crowdfunding, going from banks and going from investors, even like big venture capitalist firms. So all of this about, they're not investing in our companies, things like that. We don't need them to do that anymore. We can start investing in our own companies and we can work together in order to build wealth. So, are you eligible to fund? And then I'm going to actually toss it over to Tawana. Most people are eligible to fund. One of the great things about crowdfunding is it doesn't matter if you have low credit. It doesn't matter if you have some sort of a criminal past, unless it's financial crimes, because they will do something called a bad actor check. It doesn't matter if you don't have industry experience, as long as people believe you and believe in your campaign, you can raise money. I would say 95% of the reasons that stopped people from raising money from banks and angel investors does not stop you, especially as a Black American, does not stop you from raising money through crowdfunding, through any type of crowdfunding, even equity crowdfunding. So Tawana, I'm going to toss it over to you, and then we have a few more slides.
Awesome. I want to touch on two things that you talked about: the accreditation status. Cherie talked about typically people who are very well off being the ones who traditionally had access to invest in startups. The law is slowly but surely changing. The SEC put in place some new regs that now you could even kind of even the playing field by taking trainings and getting certified, right? So if you're certified in certain financial courses like Series 7, Series 60 something or another, you can become deemed an accredited investor, because by definition, they say unaccredited investors are unsophisticated, right? Which means they don't think we know enough to be responsible investors. And so they believe that when you have more money, right, accredited, somehow that makes you more responsible. Not really sure how they connected those dots, because I know a whole lot of people that make a whole lot of money and they still don't really have no money. So,
and not just from our culture too. I was listening to a podcast this morning as I was walking, and the guy said the same thing. He was like, I know somebody who leaps and bounds above these accredited rich investors, but he couldn't take his money at the time because he wasn't accredited.
Exactly. So now you can take these courses. Now you've got to, these courses are intense, right? Because most of them are meant for like financial planning certifications. But it's an opportunity for somebody that makes like, $40,000 and knows how to budget really well, right? So they have a lot of disposable income to now be deemed accredited, and they too can invest at an unlimited amount into these businesses. So, the law is changing in a way that I think will benefit many of us down the line. But for now, those accreditation rules, kind of do play a part for many. But don't let that discourage you, right? You can invest plenty, even if you're unaccredited. It goes based on your net worth, and that number varies for different people. A lot of people say up to $2,025, but that's really not true, because the number does vary based on what your net worth is, right? Your annual salary may not be the $200,000, but maybe you have some really good investments. Maybe you have a ton of savings, whatever your situation is, it's different. So we always recommend that people go to the SEC website and look at what the rules are and make that determination for yourself. The SEC has a really cool chart that you can look at that makes that determination. The other thing I want to mention is the slide, are you eligible for, what makes you eligible for crowdfunding? What I know to be true is crowdfunding is a full-time job within itself, right? So you're running this business, right? This amazing business that needs the capital, but you have to run this campaign too. The other thing you can't do and expect to be successful is to go to a legitimate FINRA approved crowdfunding portal, put up a campaign page and let it sit there and hope and pray somebody comes and sees it, right? That's the other thing that you can't do. So crowdfunding campaigns need several things. First, they need a crowd, right? Hence the name, right? You need a platform where you can present what you're doing, Share your idea with a community of people that can help you get to raise the capital that you're looking for, right? Some people come to a campaign already with their crowd, right? Some people already have a huge following for certain products or services that they may have. And then others don't have anyone, but they have an amazing idea, right? I talked to a founder today. He's got an amazing idea. I feel it in my guts. He's sitting on a gold mine. He doesn't have a crowd, right? So what I did today was I hooked him up with a crowdfunding strategist to help him, because I know he's sitting on something big. He just needs someone to help him cultivate the business part of it and get this crowdfunding campaign truly off the ground. And so you need a team, right? So you need a team to run the business, and you need a team to run this campaign. So when I say the campaign is a full-time job, I'm not playing. We've had several of our founders, when we talk about how hard running a campaign is, they just, like, yeah, this is difficult. They didn't realize this was going to be a constant road show, right? Telling everyone you meet about your project, right? Putting yourself out there in ways you haven't done before. So be ready for that in addition to everything else. It takes more than just a good idea to have a successful campaign. It's really about networking and building your team and building your crowd. Whereas, kind of where 10K comes in, because we help you build that crowd. We are a community of small dollar investors. The thing that we all have in common is we want to invest Black. And so here at the 10K Project, we highlight the Black entrepreneur. And so we host these Bet on Black pitches where we bring our community of investors to these sessions to determine if they see the presentation, and then the investor determines if they want to invest individually in this business. We are not a fund. We don't say everybody invest right now in company ABC. We don't do that. We don't do groupthink. Each person makes that decision for themselves because it's your portfolio, right? I know the kind of businesses that I'm building in my portfolio. You know the kind of ones you want in yours, and they may be different. And so each investor makes that decision. What we have in common, though, is that we want to see the Black entrepreneur win, and we want to build wealth for our future, right? Yeah. So when those two parties come together, it truly is the perfect date. It really, really is. There's no matchmaking service as good as this. We bring the people that need you, right, into your life. So we bring that entrepreneur and that investor together, and together they grow and they make magic happen. Now, equity crowdfunding, it's startups, right? Which we started out by saying that it's a way to invest in early companies, startups. So you're not gonna make $1 million tomorrow, right? You may not ever make $1 million, right? Because there are no guarantees when you invest. But the other thing is, this is the long game we're playing here, right? 7 to 10 year investments. This is not a quick flip. If you're looking to put in 100 and get back 5,000, that's not this, right? And so you may want to find a different YouTube channel, find a different Twitter channel, because we're not talking about how to make money like that. What we are talking about is the long game of investing. So you have to be responsible. You have to be willing to lose everything, right? So that means you don't invest more than you can afford to lose. And you have to be willing to support these entrepreneurs who are starting many of them at the beginning of their journey. Some of them are post-revenue, but many of them don't have clients already. They have maybe a prototype of their product if they have a product. So they're at different stages of their journey, but many are still at the beginning. Even for the ones who have revenue, they're still at the beginning of generating revenue for the business. So we're in this for the long haul with them. But what you get with the 10K is a community of people who are going to help you both grow from an entrepreneur standpoint and grow from an investor standpoint. We're going to guide you, share content with you that allows you to learn about alternative investment opportunities. It's not all just equity crowdfunding. That's our main focus. But we talk about things, Cherie alluded to it earlier on, buying businesses. We talk about buying and investing in hotels. It goes on and on. Any way you can make money, we're talking about it. And we're not just talking about it. We're bringing specialists and professionals in front of you that have successfully done these things And they're not just talking about it, they're telling you and sharing with you the roadmap on how you too can have some of the similar success that they've had.
An everyday person who loves our community, but
Oops.
feels.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, that was it.
I pressed the
we
wrong
can go
button.
ahead with the slides.
I pressed the wrong button. Yes. So, you know, we did, for our entrepreneurs out there, we did talk about, you know, Tawana alluded to pre-revenue companies, as well as companies that are producing revenue, but you're still, you know, in your family and friend round is what it's called, or sometimes your seed or series A round is what this is for. I'm also a fan of buying businesses, and I do believe that equity crowdfunding is going to be a way for us to buy businesses. So we have partnered with a company run by Curtis Witt and Robin Mansell, and they are putting together a mastermind of 20 people, only 20 people for the year 2022 that want to buy a cash flowing business right now. Here's the reason why I think buying businesses is going to be part of the major key to Black people gaining wealth. Like, we're already behind, but we have to run faster in order to reach up to our counterparts, right? Within the next decade to about 15 years, there are going to be tens of thousands of very strong businesses for sale. Why? Because baby boomers are going to be retiring, and their kids don't want to take over the business, and, you know, et cetera, right? So we have an opportunity to get into these businesses. You know, let's say that the business costs $700,000 and we're able to raise that from within the community. We can own the business. So now it's Black owned. You know, there may be an opportunity for those businesses to get government contracts or more government contracts now that it's minority owned, or, you know, Fortune 500 contracts, et cetera. Again, because not only is it minority owned, but it has a track record. But more importantly, within the conversation we had with Curtis and Robin is they have worked with personal service companies. And we talked about how do we dominate the supply chain and not just the service itself. So, you know, we do that by buying these businesses. So I'm a real advocate for it. I'm going to put it in Zoom and on YouTube, the link for people who want to attend that information session. I'm just a huge fan of just come and listen to what's being said and have us think about it and open our minds, because that really is the next frontier for all of us here. So I'm going to put that into YouTube. Shout out to everybody watching on YouTube as well. Don't forget to thumbs up the video, and I'm going to share the rest of this the presentation here. So there are a few things you need to succeed with regards to equity crowdfunding and raising money for your business. The first thing you need is a winning crowdfunding campaign plan. And Tawana alluded to this a little bit when she talked about the person who didn't necessarily have a network, needing to talk to a crowdfunding coach with regards to how to actually set up, not only get a network, but or get a group of investors, but also have a crowdfunding plan. So you do absolutely need that. Number two is you need a knowledgeable team who also understands legal compliance. Number one, you can't raise money in equity crowdfunding as a sole proprietor. You need to have an entity structure. And you do need to have somebody on your team and by your side who understands the SEC regulations. And then there are other team members that you want to consider having as well. You need to be on a legally compliant crowdfunding platform. So there are over 70
There's about 65 right now.
65. See, Tawana keeps up with it. She is the maestro. So about 65 crowdfunding portals that are approved by the SEC and FINRA. People cannot just slap up a website and say, hey, I'm a crowdfunding portal. Like, no. So you want to check the SEC website, no, FINRA. It's the FINRA website that has the list of the approved crowdfunding portals. Number 4, you do want to have some experts to guide you through your campaign. There are people who have done it before. There are about 50 Black people that have raised over $1 million. So it's a small group, but it's growing. You may not necessarily need to raise $1 million, but you may listen to their stories in order to be able to figure out how you can raise the 200,000 or 300,000 you need to reach your next milestone. And then ultimately, you're going to need investors as well. That's where the 10K project could potentially come in. Tawana is the one that runs that Bet on Black pitch. The pitch happens every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern time. What we suggest you do is, once you think you're going to be serious about raising money through equity crowdfunding, then we suggest you come to our website, the10kproject.com/entrepreneurs. And you are able to select that you're still doing research. We have an ebook there for you. Or you can say, I have a crowdfunding campaign that is live, and Tawana will contact you right away on that page. Also, we are launching our equity crowdfunding course. Very proud of that course, and we have a focus group starting this fall. If you want to get a preview of the course in exchange for it being no charge to you, and in exchange for you giving us feedback on the course and a testimonial if you like it, please come to the10kproject.com/entrepreneurs. Select that you're still researching. It'll tag you in our system that you're an entrepreneur who wants to be considered for the course. And when the course is open for the focus group, we will reach out to you. We're going to let about 8 to 10 people in order to go through the course and, give us feedback, and also give us testimonials if it's something that you enjoyed. So with that, Tawana, I'm going to keep the screen up. What else do you have for the family?
Cherie talked about the Bet on Black pitches. That is a member-only event. And so, for anyone who's interested in becoming a member here at the 10K Project, go to the10kproject.com. Membership has 2 tiers currently. We've got the gold membership, which is $100 lifetime membership fee, one time, $100 for life. You did not misunderstand that. One-time payment, $100 for life. That gives you access to all of our content, all of the Bet on Black pitches, gives you access to our Knowledge Center, which has all of our historic content there. And most importantly, it gives you access to that member-only Bet on Black pitch session. We also have a platinum package that gives you everything the gold package does. In addition, it gives you 6 months of financial planning by a licensed financial planner. We've partnered with a Black-owned business called Freeman Capital. They are committed to building wealth in the Black community, and we've partnered with them for them to offer 6 months of financial planning services, and that cost is just $347. If you're already a 10K member, you can upgrade to the platinum package for just an additional $247. We have been told by many people that to get 6 months of financial planning at the level upon which we're offering it is well over $4,000. So $347, we're told, is a steal, right? A steal. So if that's something you're interested in, if
And
you're
you're
interested
superior quality too.
Yes,
Superior
definitely.
quality for a much less price.
For much less, exactly. So if you're interested in getting your finances in order, we all have the New Year's resolutions coming, and financial health is something that's on your list, please consider that platinum membership. If you want to be a part of a community where we learn about entrepreneurship and learn about being an investor and being a responsible investor and learning about all of the alternative investment opportunities that are out there for us to make supplemental income that allows us to invest more for the future of our family. If you are an entrepreneur and you want to learn how to grow the business, right? If you want resources, both human resources as well as technical resources to help you grow and scale, the 10K project is a community you want to be a part of. And for just $100 lifetime, it pays for itself over and over and over again. We've got testimonials on our website from our members. We also have testimonials from the founders that we've helped fund. And so we believe that the value of what you get for that small fee is unmatched. I mean, it really is. But we do what we do because we know this community needs us. We know that through education and through opportunities and being exposure to some of these opportunities, we know that the generational wealth that we're all looking for will be built. We also know that the help we're providing to founders to get the capital they need to get their businesses to the next level, we know we're doing good work here. And the bigger this community becomes, the more capital we can raise for these Black founders. And what that allows them to do is it allows them first and foremost to not have to go to the banks and beg, right? It allows them to not have to go, and I don't have anything against VCs, there's a place for everyone, but they don't have to go to a VC and give up 50% of their business, right? Their dream, right? You know, they don't have to do that. If we invest in them, we become their crowd, we get ownership of this business that can do amazing things, and they get the capital they need to do the amazing things. It's win-win. And so, you know, we know that the more of us that are here in the 10K project, the more founders we can support. Because when Cherie tells you, you know, she put those stats up about how underfunded we are, that's not, you know, she didn't even go into the differences between women and men. So she didn't take it even the deeper dive, right? But just know that we are underfunded, drastically underfunded, right? Yeah. And so we've got to change that. We've got to change that.
Not only are we underfunded, there was a Morgan Stanley report that said that when our businesses are properly funded, we make just as much money as any other ethnically founded group that's out there. But the VCs are still hesitant to fund us. The professional angel investors are still hesitant to fund us. I've spoken personally, I know Tawana has as well, to entrepreneurs who have said to us in private sessions, no recordings, right? They've gone into these meetings with individuals, and the individuals have said, we've never seen a Black person do that before. When we see the first Black unicorn means $1 billion plus company, then we'll maybe start funding Black businesses. For the industry, and I'm kind of quasi in the industry because of what I do, I see this as an opportunity. I see it as like the biggest opportunity for us. And I love my fellow Black entrepreneurs, but there's been a lot of, because it's very hard to get beaten down like that, you know, just because of this, right? But I'm like, that's the biggest opportunity, because what is entrepreneurship? Entrepreneurship is solving a problem, right? We have a problem. We also have a group of people who want to buy Black. If we're buying Black, let's invest Black too. And that's the whole point of the 10K project. And, you know, we have great investors within the 10K project. Now, they're smart. The 10K project investors are smart. You cannot come to the Bet on Black pitch as the founder and presenter of the evening half-stepping. It's very true, because so here's what happens is you get in there and there will always be somebody in the community and in the audience who is in your industry, and they will ask you questions. And people will hang on to what that person is asking and how you're answering and the back and forth that's happening. And, people are pretty savvy within 10K, but people are also very warm-hearted, and we want to see our people win. And we just want to make sure for ourselves as well in our portfolios that we are investing in what we believe are the right projects so that our portfolios can grow. Because on the investor side, I always talk about these rappers and um, rich people, rich Black people that are, getting in super early and cashing out for millions of dollars. Well, we're able to do that as well. But the way that we're able to do that is by taking the ride with you, and believing in you and being able to help you when you need help. So, Tawana, yesterday was a perfect example of help when you need help. Yesterday, we had on a gentleman named Juan Young from an up and coming company named Melanins. And I think Tawana, you were the one that asked, what do you need? And he said, I need introductions to HBCU business schools. And lo and behold, there were about 4 people. I was one of the people, 4 or 5 people that said, I can introduce you to this. We had Dillard University. I knew somebody at Hampton. We had a couple other people that knew a couple of other schools. You said it, Tawana, we don't need anybody but ourselves.
So we can do this. Together, we can do anything. And we've heard that slogan before, right? We're better together. You hear it when companies merge, right? That's it. We're better together. Well, this community of Black people, we are better together.
Yeah.
And today is the day. It has arrived that we stop trying to compete against one another unnecessarily and feeling like we can't all win. Everybody gets to eat. Everybody gets to eat, and we get to help each other in the process. Because what I know to be true is even using last night as an example, that whole dialogue took maybe 3 minutes, and Juan got 5 or 6 contacts, right? That it doesn't take much for us to help each other. That's what lets me know that this is right, because it doesn't take a lot. It comes natural for us. That's what we do, right? And so, melanins.com is the platform. They specialize in helping people network, right? So, and, think about all the things you may need in your business, right? If you're an entrepreneur, Melanins is a place where you can connect with people who have different skill sets. Amazing companies we're working with. When I tell you, and Juan isn't a company that has come to pitch for us yet. When he raises again, he's coming. But the companies that we've had come to pitch with us, and the companies that we have in our community that may not be raising money right now, they're doing some amazing work. We're not, I don't want to minimize some industries, but this is not playtime. These are innovative projects they're doing. They are solving problems that have global impacts. These are not just some, playground games going on here. They are doing big things. And we have the ability to have that unicorn happen because we're doing amazing things. But guess what? You never hear about them because we don't get the money we need. I'll use Clubhouse as an example. There's a company called Needle. Needle is a company, they were around before Clubhouse. And the difference, and Allende is the CEO of Needle. He's currently raising on
Republic.
Where's Needle raising?
Republic, I think.
Republic. He's currently raising on Republic.co. And Allende had a raise and he got like $80,000. Clubhouse, right? They got investments. How much money did they get? Like 10 million or something ridiculously crazy like that allowed them to do the marketing
scale up
campaign.
Quickly. Yeah, because I haven't been on Clubhouse in a couple of months, and I went back, and now they got the payment structures up, and you can, they did some stuff.
But that's the difference. And when you look at Needle versus Clubhouse, now I can't speak to Clubhouse today, but when you look at Needle versus Clubhouse 2 months ago, Needle had better bells and whistles. He had more stuff, but we don't even know about Needle. We can't know about them because marketing costs $1 million, right?
Mhm.
and he was only able to raise 80,000 the first time around.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to win in a game when the rules are not the same. And so we need to rally around our Black founders, guys. We really do, because they have better products than the competition. They just don't have the money to show you and tell you about it. That's where we come in. That's where we come in as investors. We help them get the capital. We build our portfolio in the process, and it's win-win. And that doesn't mean that everything we invest in will win, because I'll say it again. You have to be willing to lose, right? That's what invested is. Even if we invest in the stock market, if you invest in anything, you have to be willing to lose. But if you invested enough, the odds would say that something's got to give, right? Something's got to make money, or you need to do better due diligence. Something because that means you might be picking a little wrong. But the point is, we can do this together. But they need us. The Black founders need us. They're not getting the money they need at the banks. Yeah, we saw this big rise, after the George Floyd incident, where everyone wanted to give us money, right? Giving Black people money was the thing. I don't know that that's going to be a long-term solution for companies, right? I don't believe it is. Now, if it is, that's great. I just don't believe that's going to be the reality in 5 years, right? I think they're going to be back to going to the banks, being denied, or getting less money than they need, even though they've proven, everything they need to prove that they can make it and pay the loan back. I just don't think those things are going to change. And that's where we come in. If we stay strong and stand behind these Black founders, they don't even have to walk into the bank to ask. They can raise their money via equity crowdfunding, and it's win-win.
Yeah. Well, we want to thank everyone for being here tonight with us. Again, the10kproject.com/entrepreneurs if you want to be considered for our focus group, or we have an ebook that goes into more depth with regards to equity crowdfunding. And ultimately, if you want to be considered for the Bet on Black pitch, the10kproject.com/entrepreneurs. If you want to be a member, the10kproject.com. If you want to be a member who is an expert and you put yourself in the knowledge center so that when people need you, they can find you, the10kproject.com. So with that, we have our Bet on Black pitch in a little bit over an hour. So we're going to give Tawana a chance to rest and me a chance to get home so that I can be ready for tonight as well. So thank you, Tawana. Thank you, everybody
Thank you,
here
everyone.
on YouTube, Zoom, etc. Really appreciate everybody here tonight.